Well, welcome to Red and Black Sport, and another top weekend of sport just gone past, hasn't it? Once again, it's pretty hard, isn't it, to be a Black Caps fan. After winning the first test with a day to spare, we thought everything had come right. And then we lose the second test with nearly a day to spare again. Still no resolution to the opening pair, is it? So pressure on the Kiwis, third test starting on Friday. Well, of course, then we go from there to the All Blacks in Hamilton, not in perfect conditions at all, but probably one of the better 40 minutes of All Black rugby I think you would ever see. Little Aaron Smith, little dynamo, isn't he? The passing was quick, it was crisp, and it got to the players. And what I liked about it was wingers scored tries. And Sevilla, well, he's a man that can run 11 seconds for the Hundy, and he's about 112 kg. He's a massive man and a freak, and so young. He may well become one of our greats. Who would know? And I've got to say, I was not happy with Aaron Cruden starting, but he played very well in the first half. And then Beauden Barrett came on, and he still just adds to me that little edge. Okay, so there we are, and great to see that Dan Carter got 80 minutes of rugby at Southbridge. He's got to play this weekend, in my opinion, for the Crusaders. He's got to be ready now. He's got to try it at some stage. Okay, but who would trust the Hurricanes up there? That's something we're going to have to think about. The Warriors got another win against the Broncos, and they're now inching their way towards the top 8. So can they qualify? That will be something to have a look at. To the Rams, well done. Last-minute basket in Otago to get a win. So last home game's coming up this Saturday night at Cal Stadium. Get out and support that. Okay? Now, whether you're a football fan or not, it was soccer in my day, but whether you're a football fan or not, you have got to have got hooked on the World Cup. There are reasons for that. I think they're a joy to watch most of the teams. The skill level is just so high, isn't it? They look light on their feet. But the thing to me that really has cemented this World Cup has been the positive approach by virtually every team. They want to score goals. They're not prepared to settle for a draw. And then, of course, this morning, well, the USA had to be a little unlucky. And you kept thinking, didn't you, with Portugal, when will Ronaldo put his stamp on it? Well, he waited to full time to put the perfect cross in. The goal came, 2-2 draw. So Group G is so alive and well, I don't think you've got any show of trying to pick it. Okay, what we're going to do, though, we're going to talk the Rio World Cup, and a man who should know a little bit about the game, former international keeper, of course, for New Zealand, and a great stalwart of Canterbury soccer or football, and also, of course, Christchurch's leading publican now with O'Shea's Bar. He wanted me to put that in. Stroudy, you've enjoyed it, mate?
Fantastic, Pete. Yeah, it's awesome to watch. It's just totally enthralling, isn't it?
Is it the best World Cup you've seen?
Oh, absolutely. You know, they're talking about scores 4-2, you know, being as close to the 1950s when teams used to win 7-4 and things like that. But it's great because the teams that are attacking are being rewarded. They're getting goals and getting points.
Isn't it amazing? It's very similar to an Olympic Games or something. They're never going to be ready. It's going to be a disaster. Everything's wrong. You know, the stands are going to fall down. It's just gone so well.
And I'm glad to see they're focusing on the football now, and all that stuff's just been forgotten, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And the whole football world's been turned upside down with the likes of Costa Rica being the first team to go through in their group when Uruguay or Italy are going to go home with England. And that's just unheard of.
Yeah, absolutely. We get an African side scoring 4 goals, for goodness sake.
And the United States drawing with Portugal. Yeah. Man. Yeah.
And a little stiff, I thought, too, didn't they? They got
they couldn't have left it any later.
But that Ronaldo. This might surprise you, I actually have no sympathy whatsoever for England. I think that they actually don't show the respect to a World Cup that I think that a country like that should. And because of the fact that their premiership is so important to them, it's flooded with overseas players who are all scoring goals in the World Cup, but for other countries.
And some of them are against England.
Yeah.
And they're paying the price for having a fantastic domestic competition, but at the detriment of the quality of English football.
Do you think that there should be some steps taken that you can only play X number?
I don't think they will. They won't compromise the EPL for the sake of the national team.
Yeah, because that's what the cash cow is.
That's absolutely. And you've seen teams, the Manchester City and Arsenal's, at times field a team that hasn't got an Englishman in it.
Must be a nightmare for the coach and for the selectors to even come up with a squad, is it?
Oh, I don't think there's plenty of players, but to match the quality they're coming
Yeah.
against, because you see the minnows are raising the bar now. They're coming up and measuring up against the big boys.
And we've got to, I find this hard to do, but you've got to give some credit to Australia. I thought they played damn well and were a bit stiff in the end, weren't they?
Oh, yeah, they put the heebie-jeebies up in the Netherlands all right and scored probably one of the goals of the tournament so far.
Without doubt.
Cahill scored a great volley, yeah. So they did the same against Chile when they scored. They got confidence and they went forward and pressed, so they've done really well.
So we haven't got a team there, but I suppose now our allegiance a little bit with Australia, isn't it?
Oh, I'd say, well, they're gone, yeah. So where it goes now, I just want to see lots more goals and keep it going.
I did think of you as I've been watching this, and I think, is there a worse position on a soccer field that you'd want than goalkeeper, mate?
Oh, sweet and sour, wasn't it? When the Russian goalie let that one go through, and I looked and went, oh, I've done exactly the same. And you would just want a big hole to crawl into. And then the Mexican keeper played fantastically against Brazil, made some great saves. Yeah. So there it goes, the nature of the beast.
Why is it that goalies always, at the moment a goal scored, the goalie turns and blames the team? Did you used to do that?
Absolutely. And I've seen one of the highlights of football when a goalie actually threw the ball into his net and turned around and started pointing to his defenders.
So you at least used to do it. But yeah, it is the last line of defence, but it's in the end, that's what turns the tide, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. That counts. A mistake costs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you been impressed with the standard goalkeeping?
Absolutely, yeah. Some of it's been fantastic, and I really felt sorry for the Russian goalie. He was really highly rated coming in here, and I'm sure we'll see him make amends for that blue.
And probably this is a World Cup where the goalie's been under more pressure because teams want to score goals.
Oh, and these balls are a lot lighter than they used to be, and the way they design boots and they put the foot through a ball to make it swerve, like the Italy free kick that sent the keeper the wrong way, bounced off the crossbar, and it just swerved right through the air. It's just incredible.
Although if you watch the American goal this morning, quite interesting. It came off his stomach. I thought I'd be quite a good player at that game.
Oh, I don't know. You're looking pretty good these days, Pete. He didn't
worry about his boots, though, did he? And none to do with the boots.
No, it went in, and it doesn't matter how it goes in. I think he was pretty happy.
Why do you think this positive things come through? Have they had a directive, or teams just want to give it a rip?
No, I think some of the teams have thought, well, we've got nothing to lose, so we will attack. But it was like the Netherlands against Spain, where Spain, always reap the rewards of keep playing beautiful possession football and keeping the ball for long periods of time. Netherlands got it, launched forward and reaped
Which
the rewards.
is not like them.
No, they play pretty similar.
Oh, yeah.
So they've come out and they're attacking with numbers and at pace.
Just speaking of the Netherlands, having a couple of quiets with someone over the weekend, and they were just saying, if the Netherlands strike Germany, I think Netherlands will choke. Their record against Germany, is it a throwback to the war, or what is it?
I don't know, and I think people say that this team's going to win or that team's going to win. I think they're talking crap.
I've got that on the question sheet a little later on, who's going to win it.
Anybody who says they know they're going to win is just talking through a hole in their head.
TAB must be totally confused, I would think.
Absolutely. And the last World Cup, when one team, I think it was Netherlands, won by a long way,
yes.
or Germany won and then got rolled by Argentina, who got rolled by the Netherlands, and anything could happen when it comes to the knockouts.
When we come back, we are talking the beautiful game, as they call it, and that is football, still called soccer in the United States, though, so I'm not too bad. Back in a moment with Stroudy. Welcome back. We're talking the beautiful game, of course, the World Cup in Brazil. It's been a wonderful, wonderful spectacle so far, and so much more to come. And a man who really lived in the hot seat. Yeah, he guarded the onion bag, as they called it, the goal, and Alan Stroud, former international, and he knows the painful bit of being the last one in the line, and the ball goes in the back of the net. Something that probably has helped us a bit, Stroudy, with this World Cup has been that it's in a good time zone for Kiwis, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good to watch, yeah. And people are saying, do you get up early and watch the 4 o'clock kickoff? Well, there's no need to, because straight after the last game, they replay them all. Right. And you watch them all over again. How good is that?
Can we get the ad in? As a publican,
yes.
You would have had some busy moments at times where the pub's not normally busy?
Last Sunday, especially with the English-Italy game, we were chocker.
Right.
And then there was a game after that. There was, I think, Korea played in the afternoon.
Yes.
And so it was football all day. And even the rugby boys all come in to watch the football as well.
Right.
So even the rugby boys are talking football.
So it's been good for the hospo trade?
It's been, really good. Okay. Yeah.
Now, we may not have a team there. That's fine. But once again, little old New Zealand was able to put a real mark on the World Cup. The officiating by our people. Firstly, I didn't know we had 3 officials that were up to that standard. and they certainly proved that they probably weren't in the end. We made the headlines, didn't we?
Yeah, and
for all the wrong reasons.
Well, a bit of drama and a bit of controversy, but that can happen at any time.
But it seems to be us.
something about us, or something about referees.
Well, I guess I didn't know that we had 3 that were good enough to go to a World Cup.
Surprised it's fantastic to have some representation there, isn't it?
Yeah. And your mate Stevie Sumner, he's been over. He's an ambassador.
I've got lots of mates who have gone over to watch it, and just Brazil will be just fantastic. Yeah, the reports are that they're having an absolute ball.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Disappointments. Have you had some disappointments, Stroudy?
Out of the World Cup? No, not so far. No.
Teams though that you thought would have perhaps gone better?
Okay, that's really hard to say as well. Everybody expected Spain to waltz through,
right?
And European champions as well, and so they've been playing really well, and they just absolutely got hammered. And a real surprise to a lot of people would have been Chile coming through.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who know what been happening in Chile in football, and they've been coming on really well. They did really well, and they were very competitive in the last World Cup,
right,
as were Uruguay before that, and they got in the semis last time. So these guys are improving all the time, and you see their best players are not just playing in the top grades through Europe, but they're featuring as the star standout players.
Where would the Chilean players play their football?
Oh, they'd be similar to all the others. And if you look at all the teams that are in the World Cup, how many of them play in their own country? I think you'd be surprised. It'd be a very small amount.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yet the game is huge in those countries, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
But they go away to get their football.
They go all over the place.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. My director, of course, who's had plenty of time on the couch in recent times, could tell me that the makeup of the United States side very heavily dominated by German extraction players.
And funny having Jürgen Klinsmann as a coach as well, being a German, and they play Germany in the next game, which would be absolutely fantastic.
Huge, right?
Yeah. And they were held to a draw by Ghana.
Right, now we're going to get to the hard question about making the semis, because we're certainly not there. We've got another round of pool play to go, haven't we?
Yep.
Yeah. So next week we get into the sharp end.
Into knockouts, and then quarters, then semis.
Right, okay. Right, we've said how well organised the tournament is, and they seem to have no bother filling those stadiums, do they?
No, they're chocker, aren't they?
Yeah.
And people from all over the place as well, yeah. It's just a big party.
Yeah, the mates that you've got there, is it a cheap place to tour? I've never been there.
I don't think it's cheap by any stretch. It's quite expensive, yeah.
Females seem to be attractive. Not that you'd have noticed, Stroudy, but the local females seem quite attractive.
Attracted to the game?
No, attractive.
Attractive to the game. A bit of both, Pete. Well, it is a beautiful game.
Yeah. But I've seen they play one game in teeming rain, which I wouldn't have thought they'd have copped, but you'd think at this time in their summer. But so it's a tester, isn't it? But the ground surfaces, there's been some comment made about those, that they're not really up to scratch, but doesn't seem to have affected the play, does it?
No, they look all right. They look great on tally, and the stadiums look fantastic.
And how good's the coverage?
Oh, they're brilliant.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's
absolutely
awesome.
Brilliant. You don't miss a damn thing, do you? You're probably better than being there, although it wouldn't be. Nothing's ever better than being there.
And with the technology, the goal line technology, and how they measure the offsides, and the referees with the spray cans to measure how far the wall is away, and all that, and then it disappears.
They didn't put a chip in the ball this time, though, did they?
No. There is one, but they didn't use that.
They didn't use it.
No.
What is the ball they're using?
Oh, it's a special World Cup ball made for this World Cup.
I don't know who it's made by, but it seems very light.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
Light, and they move.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think every team's been welcomed when they've come, haven't they? I mean, I know there's rivalry in football, there always is, but mostly it seems to be good-hearted, doesn't it?
Oh, totally. And it's an absolute classic, measuring up like who's going to dominate the South American, the European, and then the African teams are coming through as well.
Well, that really is the surprise package, isn't it? Is the African growth of the African nations.
Yeah, and how good they are.
How good they are. All right, interesting. When we come to the sharp end, which is next week, every game in the semis, in the quarters it'll be, won't it? Yeah, or top 16.
Yep.
Yeah, they all play at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think the reason for that is to keep everybody guessing. And it may be, I hate to use the expression match fixing or whatever, but you don't know who's going to go through in that pool because you'll play at the same time.
That would be the last round of the qualifiers.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can't play
can't
for
manipulate it.
a boring 0-0 draw or something and cancel each other out. Yeah.
Which is quite a good idea.
That's not silly. Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to get on with the watching, but I don't know. I suppose there'll be more channels, will there? You can pick your team that you want to go with.
I think people will just watch the one that they'll put forward and then catch a highlights program.
It's going to be cutthroat, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, ruthless.
Because we're going to ask the hard question, have you got a semi-finalist at this stage?
I put $10 on Brazil to win it. $10 of
Because of
our
home?
syndicate money. Yeah, home advantage. And the pressure they're under, they have to deliver.
Right.
Yep.
Is the home advantage that great?
Sorry?
Is the home advantage that great?
It is, yeah. It's definitely an advantage, and the number of home supporters and things, yeah.
You're in the hot seat. We take Brazil. We go with who else?
Oh, well, you have to look. The big four: Brazil, Germany, Netherlands, Argentina.
That's your four.
Yeah, that's the big four.
Right.
But when it comes to knockouts, anything can happen. And some of these teams will be defensively minded as well and think they got little choice, especially if somebody gets sent off. They'll play for a draw and go for penalties.
Right. Tell you what I have found very, very good too, and I think it should come into other sport as well, where they add the time on, the stoppage time. So they play the 90, and then it comes up the wee corner, 5 minutes extra or whatever. That's a good way of doing it.
I think so. They do that in the Aussie rules over there. When the ball's out, the clock stops.
Right.
Yep. So you get if it's 45 minutes, you get 45 minutes of play.
What did intrigue me though today with the Americans was that the clock doesn't stop for substitutions.
No.
So they could have actually soaked up a bit of time.
They could, but referee's time. If he thinks it's taking longer, he'll stop the clock.
From a goalie's point of view, that's all changed since my day of watching it,
totally.
mate.
And you used to be able to...
3 steps?
Oh, no.
Your day?
It was 4 steps.
4 steps.
Yep. And they've changed the rules a number of times. But now you've got 6 seconds to...
Right. That's referee or time? Or who
referee.
Time? Referee will do that, yeah.
Yep.
Because they can come a long way out.
Oh, yeah. And you used to be able to waste time by booting the ball out and it comes back a wee while later. Now there's one on the side that comes straight back in. So you've got to be quick. It's much more continuous.
Because there must be a temptation, if you were the States, for argument's sake, to stick the ball up your jumper with 20 seconds to
and
go.
hold on to it,
can you?
Yeah, no, you can't at all.
It's been fascinating. I've enjoyed it. It's a technicality that I thought's a great thing to bring in. Especially when you look at the limited amount of rugby time we actually get in 80 minutes. I think we could take a leaf out of the book there, but never mind. When we come back, we'll talk about cards and things like that. Not 500, Stroud. We're going to talk about the giving of cards, but we'll be back last time talking to former international goalkeeper, mine host of O'Shea's Bar in Marston's Road, Alan Stroud. Just before we get back to Alan Stroud, and we've bagged England at the World Cup of football, I can tell you, can I just pay a compliment to the English squad that toured here mid-season for them, or end of season for them, mid-season for us. This would be one of the best touring sides we've had come down under. Normally we get the D or E or F side from these countries. They came down with 44 players, all desperately trying to make the World Cup in their home country next year, and they played accordingly. Sure, they didn't win, but they played, I thought, a great brand of rugby, far more attacking than we've seen. We talked about attacking in the Football World Cup. I thought England came with a really, really positive attitude. I think the one thing that the All Blacks would take out of that series is do not underestimate the home nation at home in 2015. I'll be there for it, and I couldn't stand losing another one over there. But I just think full marks to all of them. To play the Crusaders midweek, sure, it wasn't a great effort by the Crusaders, but to have that attitude that says, yes, we are going to play a midweeker, spoke volumes, I think, for the management. And to Stu Lancaster and the boys, well done for putting your team up and letting them really have a decent old crack at the All Blacks. It was an exciting series, and let's hope other Northern Hemisphere sides, when they come down, bring that same attitude in the future. Right, back we go. The cards, you've seen a few of them, Stroudy. Most of them pretty justified?
Yeah, most of them are. I think they've been pretty consistent. Yeah, and that has a major impact on the outcome of a game. You lose a player, and the ones who haven't been able to hold on because the other teams have attacked them.
Seems to be quite an effort from the referees to ignore the fainted injuries and the diving, doesn't it? Just play on. You know, they're not stopping to talk about it.
Yeah, get on with it.
That's positive too.
Yeah, really
it?
good. Yeah, I hate that diving stuff.
Said he from the backyard. Yeah. Stroudy, let's move though to football here. An absolute stellar season last year to have the Chatham Cup final here and the women's final here, both taken out by local sides. Hard to see that happening this year again.
Well, Coastal Spirit girls are doing really well, and they're well down the track to, I think they're semi-finals coming up.
Great.
So they're on track to defend their...
And wasn't that a marvellous effort? Wasn't
it was, yeah. And that was a late goal as well, yeah. And the other goalie had a really good game as well. And then it was a bit of a clanger at the end, but the girls did really well. They had a really good season at Coastal. That's my local club as well, I've got to say. They're so really
and they're
proud
pretty
of them.
much a settled squad, are they? They haven't changed a lot?
No, they've a couple of additions as well, so they're good.
On the men's side?
Yeah, well, Kashmir Tech have dominated this lately, and they're looking really good to go forward.
Could we have a defence here of the Chatham Cup?
That would be fantastic.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it was a great spectacle. It was,
great day.
English Park was crowded, ASB Stadium. Yeah.
And it was a beautiful day too, which was out, and they played good football.
It was
exciting
great.
stuff. Now, you've got a role to play with, is it with mainly in football?
Canterbury United.
Canterbury United.
The Canterbury Dragons is the National League entity in Christchurch, yeah.
Keith Braithwaite's gone, the coach.
Keith decided not to do it. He decided to step down at the end of last season. You know, he's had a really good run where he picked up a team that had finished last 2 years in a row and got them in the finals, in the semi-finals and knockouts, about 4 years in a row. So last year they missed out, they got fifth, but he decided he had had enough and stepped aside, and Sean Devine has been appointed.
Tell me a bit about him.
Sean came out to New Zealand. He played for the Knights that were a precursor to the Phoenix.
Yes.
Striker, out-and-out striker. Yeah, he was a spearhead, and he's a great lad. And he coaches the Kashmir Tech development side, which is underneath John Brown.
So he's been based here.
Yeah, and my boy goes out and trains with him Tuesdays and Thursdays, and just can't speak highly enough of him. It's really nice to hear. But I've spent a lot of time with Sean, and
he's built a bit of a team around him, a coaching team?
He was in the middle of putting a team together for the summer season.
Right.
Yep.
And what involves you?
Oh, yeah. Well, he asked me to be the keeper coach, to take the goalkeepers. And I think...
you had done that though, hadn't you?
I did it years ago when Danny was coaching.
Yes.
Kerry Evans and I were involved, and it was like having our old team back together, and really enjoyed it. So when I finished playing, I stayed out with Canterbury United. I carried on. And I filled in a couple of times and a couple of odd games, but I took the keepers, and it's just great to see young players coming through. But this time I've got Adam Highfield, who's been the incumbent for Canterbury United, had some fantastic seasons, done really well
as a goalie.
And I coached him when he was 12. So with Terry Connolly's groups and things like that,
so names from the past.
And I had a fantastic group of young keepers. Adam's been an all-white, and Robbie Barraclough was one of my lads, and he got in the New Zealand under-23s, and a young lad named Jordan Dupuy, he went on to play football in the States.
What do you coach a keeper? What do you coach them to do?
It is training and good spotting technique. So these guys, when they're seniors, it's hard to find flaws. They know the game. Picking out little bits and pieces. But if I can help these guys, because what I did well was organise my back four in front of me. So you organise your defence, because one of the reasons for that is the more they do, the less you do.
Correct.
And I reckon there's a less chance that the other team might find out that you're not actually as good as they think you might be, eh?
So United's program, they've got a full program ahead?
Yeah, well...
That's Summer League, is it?
It is Summer League. Yeah. It starts in October. And it's mainly made up of domestic players, but really positive that Sean's in the middle of talks with Paul Eiffel from the Phoenix, and there's an outside chance he may front for...
He'd still be useful, wouldn't he?
He'd be fantastic. Yeah. He'd be an acquisition and a half, yeah.
The surface at ASB Stadium, of course, terrific, isn't it?
Yeah, really good, yep.
Held up well.
And very well used as well.
All right, well, you heard the big four from Stroudy. Yeah. We'll get him back in. I'll tell you that when we get towards the real sharp end. But he's picked them: Brazil, Germany, Netherlands, Argentina. Write those down. Go to the TAB. Have you got a TAB at O'Shea's?
Yeah, right next door.
Right next door. There we are. I'll never let the chance go by.
The place has got everything.
Okay, shut up now, because we want to talk rugby union. If you've got the chance, on Saturday we have a huge game in the Press Cup. It is Christchurch Boys High School, with St Bede's getting beaten by Timaru Boys High School last weekend. Christchurch Boys High at the top. They will host the defending champions, Marlborough Boys College, at Boys High School at 12 o'clock on Saturday. If you can't get there, you'll catch it here 12 o'clock and 5:30 on Sunday, and a replay at 7 on Thursday night. So that is a huge Press Cup game. We are looking forward to it, and I don't think it'll overshadow perhaps the World Cup, but in our little town here, it's a very important first 15 game. Till next week, Pete Smith saying goodbye from Red and Black Sport.